Hey, welcome to Black Gumbo. Let's sift some compost. Show you how to make this little compost sifter. I want you to take a look at this. This is my compost. This is last year's compost, and I've got quite a bit of it there in my bin here. And this has been, I guess about 8 months. 6 to 8 months of compost, because I used most of this in my summer garden, and so this is what's been made since summer. Now, most of this compost that I'm using, I'm just going to use it rough. This rough compost I'm going to scoop out, I'm going to haul it over to my garden beds, and I'm going to top off my garden beds with a 1-inch layer of compost over the entire garden. And I'll rake this smooth, break up the bigger chunks, but I can't use big chunky compost to plant seeds, so that's why we're going to sift. So I thought, since I'm going to sift some compost today and make some real fine medium to plant my seeds in, that I'd show you how I do it. I've built this compost sifter many years ago and it served me well, so I was going to show you what I do. So what we have here is finished compost. At least some of it's more finished than the rest. You can see, like over there, there's a little chunk of something. There's some leaves in here. There's a little bit of trash here and there. I think that's a pop top or a shell. Stuff gets in your compost and not everything breaks down at the same rate. And if you want a really nice, fine, almost a seed starting mix, you can sift it and get all the chunks out. So that's what we're gonna do. So here is my homemade sifter. Basically this is about a 2x3, maybe 2x3.5, I don't remember, but I made the width of it the width of a standard piece of hardware cloth. And so this is basic 1/2-inch mesh hardware cloth. You get that at any big box store. And I made a frame, and I put another frame on the outside so that I can do this. I can lift it up and I can support this end with my hand and the other end on the ground, and I can shake. And this is a basic archaeological style sifter. And before I was a pastor, before I was a creative professional, I studied some science, and that's what we did on archaeological digs. So, it comes in handy. Let me show you how to use it. So you can shake it and get a lot of nice stuff dropping through, or you can just take your hands and work it through like so. And what you get is all the junk that shouldn't be in there. You can get that stuff filtered out real easily, and just throw that into your next compost bin. Sometimes it's easy just to take a hoe and start working at it. It is a little labor intensive, but in the end, if you need some fine compost, this is one way to get it done. And you'll notice there's a lot of roots in here, down to the bottom of my compost bin, which is on bare ground. And so some of these roots, we don't want to just go stick those in the garden. They grow up in the bottom part of the compost, and no telling what they are. Grasses, weeds, we don't want them. So what's left in here is chunks of wood, chunks of avocado pit that wouldn't fit through, trash that you don't want in there, plastic, little things that slip through, and all these roots. We don't want these roots in our fine compost. Most of these probably will die if you just put them in your bed, but yeah, we don't want that in there. Uncomposted sticks and twigs and leaves, and you can just dump this back into your active compost bin. There's part of an egg carton, eggshells. There's a stone, don't know where that came from, but check out what's underneath. What's underneath now is finely sifted compost, and this is what we're after right here. That's nice. That right there, that's black gold. And all of the unfinished chunks that look like they need to break down some more, you just put them in your active bin. That's not bad, is it? Nice and loose. We're gonna plant some seeds in this. Nice and moist too. So yeah, you can achieve compost like this. It's not hard, it just takes some time. You don't have to follow all the rules. It's good stuff. It's the best stuff for your garden. And the reason I want to make a lot of compost is because last year I had aminopyrrolid poisoning in my spring garden. I brought that in on hay. And if you haven't seen my videos on that, click up there and watch that video. You don't want to rely on outside manures, hays, anything that comes from the store that you don't know the source of it. The hay that the cows ate may have been treated with aminopyrrolid herbicide, or any number of herbicides that are similar, monocot targeting or dicot targeting herbicides, and that will give you trouble. Even if the cow has eaten it, digested it, and it has been composted into, you know, if it's been composted, that stuff is persistent. That's what persistent means. More and more I'm getting people emailing me saying, man, I have the same problem. I've had aminopyrrolid poisoning. What can I do? More and more I see people online on the YouTube gardening community reporting that they've experienced it too. So it's a real thing. That's why I want as much homemade compost as I can possibly get. I know what's in here. I put it in here. Everything in here came out of my garden or my kitchen or from trusted sources. So this is, for me, gardening gold. So here's all you need. For the inner frame, I have a 3-foot long 2x4. That's 2 of them. So that's 6 feet of 2x4. I have a 21-inch cross piece. I have 2 of those. So that's about another 42 inches of 2x4. Hardware cloth covers this width just fine. And I used little U-shaped nails. You could also use a staple, but these are more effective. All right, so that's for the inner frame. 3 feet by 21 inches. And I just wood screwed them together. For the outer frame, you want to make it 27 inches wide on the outside. Basically, I just built it around my 2x4s and gave it some space so that this could move. The outside frame, doesn't really matter how long it is, but it's 4 feet long with a cross piece down here that is 2 feet long. So 2 8-foot 2x4s ought to do you. And just wood screws, that's all you need. A couple of carriage bolts in the pivot over there, and that's all you want. You want something that can pivot like that. It's really easy. I figure if you are handy and you're going to make one of these, you can look at this and figure out how to put it together, and I don't need to give you a complete recipe. But that's how I built mine. There you go. Okay, so these are my compost bins made of pallets and weed cloth. If you'd like to know how to make those compost bins, click right up there to the link and go check out that video on how I made this. And also, if you'd like to know more about compost in general, how to make it, what you can and can't put in it, then I ask you to watch this video. It's my composting video, Composting 101, where I break all the rules of composting. And what you saw today is the result. So there we have it, a real quick video on how to make a garden sifter for your compost bin and to sift your compost, and just a little bit of information on making compost. Again, go check out the videos that I've talked about today. I'd be real humbled if you did. Thanks for joining us on Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. We're going to plant seeds next. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.